From my perspective, understanding the family dynamics is critical. As we said, these families have different ways of thinking, which means they buy differently, they make decisions differently, they act differently within the business landscape. So from a KPMG perspective, we've been very deliberate in making sure that our teams understand family dynamics, and that's through external training courses that we've been providing, internal workshops that we run often with our teams, to really make sure that when we're working with these families, their understanding of how the family will act and think will be reflected in the way in which we can support them. And for me, that also runs along the life cycle of many of these families. We see our emerging giants and our families that are in their startup phase, that are often building a new business. This can then lead itself into a well-established private business and even a multi-generational family business. And to Jerome's point, we then see potentially an opportunity for a deal or an opportunity to exit, which doesn't mean the end of that business family. It creates a new opportunity for them to continue.
So I think that's a top of mind when you deal with Philippine companies. It's important to understand the family dynamic so that you can understand, how you're going to approach the requirements, how you're going to be able to assist them with potential issues that they have with their business. So that's always, and we've worked very closely with our peers in the region to try and get a better understanding of how families think. And specifically in the Philippines, we recognize that there are unique ways of looking at things. So we try to adjust to that so that we can be more responsive.
The opportunities that we have within KPMG is that we are able to bring such a wide breadth of services that the KPMG firm offers to this part of the market, but appreciating what Jerome and I were saying in a way that appreciates their family dynamics. So whether it's in relation to their audit, tax or advisory work, we have the capabilities within those technical specialisms, but it's understanding the families and being able to deliver those in a way that adjusts to their way of thinking and their definition of success.
So looking at local companies and the way they approach capital requirements, whether this be debt or equity capital, taking on a new partner is always challenging to family because they're external outsiders. But what we do is we try to work with these companies to get a better understanding of what would work for them, so that the selection of a potential partner or somebody who would bring in that financing would be along the lines of what their expectations are and what their requirements are to support whatever their shared purpose would be.
I mean, for me, working families and family offices in general, where we're seeing a huge rise in the world of family office, it's the new private equity. It's families who are looking to deploy capital but want to work with families and enjoy working with each other because of that shared purpose and those shared values. And so from a KPMG perspective, creating communities around the family business world and the private capital world allows us to support those interactions and discussions, and also provide support when it comes to either the transactions or the ongoing work, because it is an ecosystem, I think, the private capital market, and it's something that we're very proud to be a part of. I mean, governance is such a hard to define word for a lot of people. In governance, people often think quite negatively. It's about bureaucracy, it's about red tape, it's going to slow us down. But governance in family businesses is more about transparency. It's more about acceptable levels of accountability. It's more about providing clarity. So when we think of governance as simply how do we make decisions, how do we communicate, and how do we assign responsibilities, it becomes a lot more proactive and a lot more positive. And that's really one of the focuses of the governance work that we do at KPMG, is that it is more about that positive and proactive development to enable families to remain successful. And so taking them on that journey of their definition of success, their shared purpose, and then building out a governance model often allows them to achieve that.
What we want to do is show our clients that governance is an important piece of growing the business, rather than looking at it as something that would be stunting their growth. Right? It's part of the foundation that you need to be able to go on your growth journey.